Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got ATC Timmy playing the Tier 7 Royal Navy light cruiser Fiji, and he is top tier. Now the Fiji, well, it did have a heyday. I really enjoy the Fiji, and at one time played it quite a bit. It was one of the first ships that I ponied up some coin to buy the perma camo for. This is back when you got a bonus as a part of any perma camo. Bonus meaning the thing that gives you 50% more XP, coins, etc. when you play the ship. Now they've separated those things, of course, in an effort to further maximize profits. But the point I was trying to make is that I spent a little bit of doubloon money on the Fiji because I enjoyed playing it so much. Now, like a lot of ships that have been around for a little while, it has been somewhat power-crept. I'll give you the rundown, especially if you're a newer player. You may not be familiar with the particulars on the Fiji. I won't belabor the point too much, but we're at the beginning of the game. We've got a little bit of time here. So Fiji, this is from the World of Warships Wiki. A further development of a multi-purpose cruiser ship for the Royal Navy. Despite the fact that the ship's displacement was limited by international treaties, she carried numerous rapid-fire main guns. Now, rapid fire, what exactly does that mean? Well, the ship has 4 turrets, each with 3 barrels, you can see there. Total of 12 guns, and a base reload of 8 seconds. And you're able to put out a fair number of shells in fairly rapid pace. Base firing range, however, is only 14 kilometers, so you got to be in fairly close, and if you find yourself in a Tier 9 match, oh man, can it be stressful. You feel a little bit like a cat in a room full of busy rocking chairs. The 180-degree turn time on these guns is 25.71 seconds, and for those who don't know, that's pretty slow. So the ship is reasonably nimble, not especially, but reasonably nimble, but you can outturn your turret traverse if you're not careful. Or at least make it extremely difficult to bring your guns to bear if you're turning the ship at the same time. Max dispersion at that 14 kilometers is 129 meters, so the guns are pretty accurate in terms of the dispersion. We'll get into the Sigma here in a bit. Of course, you don't have any HE shells, so you don't really have the chance to create fire in time, but the max AP shell damage is 3,100 per shell. Now, Leander is a juicy target. Of course, the Leander and the Trento and probably the Dunkirk are all looking at the Fiji right now, and I think I would have probably worked. You can see what I'm talking about as far as trying to get the guns back. They're a little slow. I think I probably would have tried harder to get that shot on the Leander first. But our hero wanted to get those torpedoes away, and they can pay big dividends. You can see he slammed on the brakes by throwing it in reverse, and he's able to avoid eating a shot from Indracht there, and he's able to juke a couple of them here. But eventually, Indracht, even in today's fast-paced environment of World of Warships, is able to figure out that, hey, I need to shorten up the distance I'm firing these things, and he does connect. And our hero eats a little bit of damage. Now you can see 31,400 HP to begin with, and this thing is made of glass. So staying out of sight with the Fiji, really important even when you're top tier. So what else can I tell you from the World of Warships wiki? Well, I can tell you the secondaries are not even worth mentioning, really. Torpedoes, you've got 2 torpedo racks, 3 torpedoes per rack, and the base reload is 72 seconds. Range on the torpedoes, 8 kilometers, 61 knots of speed, and they hit reasonably hard, 15,433 max HP damage. Now, the maneuverability at 32.5 knots, decent speed, not great. There are plenty of ships that have come about since that are faster, but a nice turning circle radius of only 670 meters. Rudder shift time base is 12.2. You want to do what you can to try and make that a little bit better, I think, in my opinion at least. The acceleration on these Royal Navy light cruisers is already pretty good. Concealment, base surface detectability range 11.17 kilometers, air detectability range 6.44. So, the pros and cons, as you can see, the red team is down the Trento and the Omaha, and the good guys are down only the Omaha, but I think Kotovsky might be on his way out the door. Reasonably close game, with the green team having a 19-point lead as I say these words. The pros on the Fiji, according to the wiki: good main battery range, accurate rapid-firing guns, improved AP shells that don't overpen or bounce as often as other cruisers, retains access to the repair party, which is really nice at Tier 7, long-lasting smoke generator with a reasonable cooldown time, below average detection range, excellent handling characteristics, best belt armor in the line, especially for her tier, and it's not going to help you much. 51 millimeters of deck armor, which is high tier battleship level. But they're not going to be aiming at your deck. You might bounce a few shells off the deck, but they're going to be aiming for your ship-sized citadel along the waterline. Now the cons: long citadel that's easy to hit and larger size than Leander. No HE shells to start fires or break modules. Fairly ineffective against angled enemy battleships. That is an understatement. Only 3 torpedoes can be launched on one side. Secondaries and AA are a downgrade from Leander in exchange for more guns in the salvo, and though her maximum range is respectable, her shell velocity drops off sharply and makes landing hits difficult past medium range, which on this ship is like 10 to 12 kilometers. So you got to get in close as you know, the World of Warships gods rolled the dice, and ATC Timmy was able to avoid all of those airstrike bombs, and I'm glad he did. And very thin bow and stern armor, 13 millimeters. So you've got armor that is worse than some destroyers. AP shells bigger than 885.9 millimeters will never ricochet. And in case you're not exactly sure what I mean by that, if something with guns that are 186 millimeters or better hits your ship, they're not going to ricochet, they're going to do damage, and they can do a lot of damage. The Fiji is unfortunately a ship that can all too often have a really quick and somewhat unexpected journey back to port early in the game, even if you're in the smoke. Now, if you're in the smoke, in my opinion, if you're in a cruiser and you're sitting in smoke and you're using your guns from smoke, you want to keep moving. Try and change your angle, change your location in the smoke cloud. People are getting better and better and better at blind firing into smoke. We've got the indicator now on the mini-map to tell you where you are aiming. You can see right now there's a little circle on the nose of the action core on the mini-map. And people will use that to tag you when you're in smoke. So you've got to keep moving when you're sitting in smoke, and the Fiji or really any other cruiser in my opinion. So right now, the green team is down 5 ships, the red team down 5 ships. The red team, though, has a significant and growing points lead, over 200 points, on the back of securing both the Bravo and the Charlie Cap. Bayern is moving through the gap there. You can see that the friendly, was it Kichduin and New York, are trying to get behind the island to regroup with Bayern Pensacola and the other Bayern. Giulio Cesare, he's kind of in trouble, right? He's got Kaiser and Bayern behind him, and presumably New Mexico and the red team's Bayern in position at some point to catch his broadside around the island out there at, we'll call it Echo 8-9. And our hero just keeps putting out shells in the hope of something good happening. It's tough against battleships in the Fiji, and at this point, ATC Timmy decides, I'm going to try and get some shots on Leander. Leander at least won't bounce all my shells. King Smiley in the Kichguin takes out the Kaiser, a tier 4 Kaiser. Got dragged up into a higher tier match. And if you're new to the game and you're not familiar and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'll division up with my friend. If you're in a tier 4 ship and your friend is in a tier 6 ship, matchmaking in this game is going to put you in a game that is geared around your friend's tier 6 ship. So you could find yourself in a tier 4 ship playing in a tier 8 match, because matchmaker will potentially put you in a game, and you can see the damage is just intense. You get smashed by everything you get hit by in the Fiji. You'll get dragged into these higher tier matches a lot if you are in what is called a failed division. And that's just an abbreviated way of saying you divisioned with someone in a ship of a higher tier, and as a result, you got dragged into a higher tier match where you didn't really have a chance at all. So Omaha now begin to rain HE shells. HE shells coming from the Baleares, coming out of the smoke there, courtesy of Leander. And our hero is forced to fall back. Giulio Cesare is still in the game. New York has decided that he's going to just run north and help the Giulio, which I'm sure is much appreciated, as Giulio is able to finish off the Bayern, because the Bayern has to point his nose to split the difference between New York and Giulio. Baleares takes out a friendly Pensacola, and that leaves both teams more than banged up. The green team now down 6 ships. The red team is down 7 ships, and that means our hero can push ahead. He's got hydro. If he gets close enough to that smoke, he can make good use of that. Omaha could be finished off if he can get guns on that. Bayern beats him to the punch. And I think it's time to pop the hydro. Okay, sitting at 50,824 damage, the hydro is finally activated. Our hero is detected, then not, which means somebody's trying to use the island there. A nice double citadel shot on Baleares, and I think this is going to be it for him, as Timmy gets the follow-up shot, and now it's Leander's turn to face the firing squad. He's got a friendly Bayern on one side, and Timmy sees the torpedoes coming courtesy of his hydro. Leander is forced to show broadside, deciding he would rather face the shots from the Fiji than from the Bayern. Unfortunately for him, that's going to provide a real opportunity for the Fiji guns to just go to town. A quadruple citadel. Leander, like the Fiji, made of glass. Big shot from Dunkirk. ATC Timmy very, very wisely backed away in anticipation of that shot. And now the green team still has 6 ships and the red team only has 2. The score is almost even, and our hero is moving into the Bravo cap to help secure the win. So that's 3 kills for ATC Timmy in the Fiji, and I have to tell you, that is no mean feat in today's game. There are so many things that just completely outclass the Fiji. It's still very fun to play, but it is a little bit like playing a destroyer that has a huge citadel. You can see those guns can do some damage if you know where to put the shells. And Timmy is putting them high enough that he's able to land in the superstructure, and they will do some damage there. Bayern will keep Dunkirk spotted for him, so he can continue putting shells over the edge of the island there. And if you don't have that commander that makes all those sounds, it's so fun to listen to. There are a couple that are like that I just find hilarious that I'll play occasionally. So the red team still has a New Mexico that's way out there on the southeast side of the map, but it's not going to make any difference. ATC Timmy and the friendly Bayern here, just off of his port side, have secured the Bravo cap. Dunkirk decides, you know what, it's all over anyway. And our hero is able to finish him off for kill number 4. And sitting at 104,267 damage. Now, about the Fiji guns. You know, if you've been paying attention the last few replays, I've been talking a little bit about sigma and dispersion, and Fiji's really not bad. It's got a sigma of 2.0, and a lot of cruisers at this tier do. It also has a horizontal dispersion of only 116 meters and a vertical dispersion of 64 meters, which means they're accurate. If you know where you're aiming, you can do really well. Most cruisers at this tier are going to have the 2.0. They're going to have cruiser dispersion. You have a couple that are a little bit worse, like Atlanta, Atlanta B, Flint. Those are basically all three the same ship, more or less. And the French Toulon, which are 1.9, and then the other three are 1.7. And dispersion is, Toulon is 149 on the horizontal. Most of them are 105 to, say, 116. So this is kind of standard, more or less. And you don't have the HE shells to start fires. So right now, I think, knowing Timmy, my guess is he was kind of rubbing his hands together a little bit like Mr. Burns from a long-standing adult cartoon, hoping to pick up a Kraken. So we can all hope that he's able to do that. You can see some shots coming in too low from his teammates. Can he land the big shot, pick up the Kraken? Oh, so close, 295 HP. Is it going to do it? That did it. And ATC Timmy in the Tier 7 Fiji ship made of glass picks up a Kraken. Really, really great game. So fun to watch. I do love the Fiji. Okay, 121,478 damage, 253 shell hits, a torpedo hit, 6 citadels, poor Leander. Taking a look at the team score, Fiji tops the scoreboard with 2,160 base XP. Nearest is 1,491. Great game, Timmy. Put shells on a lot of things. A lot of things. Damage 100 from the main battery, 110,848. 10,382 from the torpedo. Little damage from AA, but potential damage 787,000 plus, and potential damage in a Fiji. That is an amazing number. Great game, Timmy. Those of you joining me, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. If you did, I hope you'll like and subscribe. Maybe tell your friends to come check it out, and I'll see you next time.